Good afternoon, Instagram and Facebook fam. It is Just the Chat, your weekly series featuring fabulous individuals from across the country who are in real estate and business owners alike. Today we will be featuring our fabulous Ashley from Vancouver, who is just here on time. I love it, I love it, I love it. We're gonna add her in. Give us a secundo. Hey Ashley, did you get my request? Let's see. So if you have any questions about Vancouver real estate or how to become an amazing overnight YouTube success, this is the Instagram live you want to watch. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being on Just the Chat.
Oh, thanks for having
me. You are coming all the way from where?
Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
What a mouthful. Okay, so let's get right into it. What do you feel about the Meghan Markle Harry interview? Because they were former Canadians. So
I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I do not stay on top of any of these things. I heard they did some interview and I heard it went well, I think, but I have no idea.
I watched like 8 minutes of it, and my husband's like, why are these people on and why are they complaining? I'm like, okay, we got to talk about that later. I don't know. So I want to jump right into it with you. You are somebody that has found a lot of YouTube success, would you say?
Well, I think it's important to like preface this. Like, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm starting to lean into YouTube, and I've had some early positive results, so I'm really happy about it. And yeah, I would say it's been successful, but with that success, I'm now looking at it as though I need to get more serious about it and figure out like what's working, why it's working, how to improve things, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
What is your social media platform of choice?
I don't know. I'm a bit ADD with this, so I obviously I'm on Instagram. I was a big fan of Facebook, and until they changed like the advertising platform in terms of like the special housing category, I was really using that. So I've leaned out a little, and I miss it because it was very effective. Anyways, but I love TikTok, but it's more of a guilty pleasure. Although I think I want to be more intentional with my TikTok, because I have had some success with that. And now YouTube, I actually think YouTube is the one thing that I have been talking about for a long time. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in YouTube. So that's probably where you're going to see me a lot more moving forward. Yeah.
So you posted up a video, and I just kind of felt like, oh, that's my open house video self-filmer soul sister, because you were barefoot in the video. And I'm like, every real realtor knows when they're like doing like a broadcast live from an open house, you got to throw the shoes aside because you don't want that clacking when you walk around.
Oh my goodness. I've been doing some tours of new developments, like new like high-rise towers and pre-sale stuff. And those are more, let's call it public spaces, right? So shoes are on. And I a few times I realized I need to bring softer grandma shoes because you can hear it. But I will say, though, that said, it's kind of more of a cultural custom here. You take your shoes off when you're in someone's house. So usually when I'm in property, the shoes are off anyway. But
yeah, it's hard. I mean, but I feel like you guys would get it because you're not like the warmest weather. You've got snow and like the legitimate stuff that we have here in New York, but is your snow dirty like ours? Because we have dirty snow in New York.
So I'm in Vancouver on the West Coast. It almost never snows here. We did get one snowfall in February, which was the first time for this whole like year. And it gets wet and dirty really fast. So it rains here a lot, so it's wet. We're like Seattle, like compare us to Seattle weather. That's what we got. And so yeah, you gotta take the shoes off because it's just muddy and gross and that kind of thing. You're tracking things inside.
So I've been crossing borders lately. You're my second Canadian that I've been interviewing. So is there anything that I need to know if I come visit our big brother upstairs, Canada? Like, what are some good Canadian colloquial terms that will make me blend in?
Oh, it's so I think the some of the cliche things like sorry is very true. I say sorry way too much. I do say a lot, and I don't think about it. I'll probably say it during this little chat with you.
Okay.
But beyond that, like there's certain things that I don't even know are unique to us. Like our one thing I've learned since I've been on TikTok, like I like to wear what I don't know what you guys would call it, like a beanie. I call
Beanie.
it a
Yeah.
toque. It's
Or
a
a
toque.
scully. A
I've never heard
scully.
Scully before.
Yeah. That's a New
So
York
toque,
term.
yeah, so toque is the word. You'll see me rocking the toques like a lot. So whenever I don't do my hair, I'm wearing a toque if it's not sunny outside. So
Okay.
yeah.
When did you get into real estate? How long have you been a realtor?
Yeah, 13 years. So
Okay.
yeah, I got licensed basically. It was January '08. And it was right when the recession happened. So I've seen a lot of different markets. Vancouver is a pretty vibrant real estate marketplace. Lots of ups and downs though over the last, 10 plus years in terms of different things going on, different market factors, government intervention, because our housing prices are pretty high. I mean, you're in New York, so it's probably similar there. But yeah, so it was an interesting start to my career when basically the market totally halted. But I know a lot of folks felt that, last spring too. So that
Well,
just
you know what? Not for nothing. That's like a strategy. You're starting at the bottom. There's only one way to go up,
I agree.
right? You
Absolutely.
can't crash after like the whole world crashed. It's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to get into it now
Yeah.
because we're going to build together.
But I did have the benefit of being quite young when I started and no dependents. So not making money for a little while was, I made it through. So
Tolerable.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you work for a smaller broker owner style firm, right?
Yeah, so I'm with Oakwyn Realty. They're kind of up and coming. It is a locally owned brokerage. I was with Royal LePage for about 11 years, and Royal LePage is a Berkshire. Is it Berkshire Hathaway?
Yes.
So like they're kind of the Canadian company here in Canada. They're like a Remax kind of a thing, and they're west to east coast, really big. And I actually really really loved that company, but it was just time for a change. And when I went to look for a new brokerage, I wanted something where the owners and the leadership were looking forward, like looking into the future, looking at, where they think the real estate landscape is going, not being afraid to try new things. If you check them out, Oakland Realty, like I have no, whatever, they're maybe across 40 now, but the three owners, when I signed up, all three were under 40. But they're growing quick. We're kind of a huge presence now in Vancouver. So, but we don't, you're with Compass, that's right? I hope that's right.
Yes, I'm with
Okay.
Compass.
So I love Compass. I don't fully understand the business model, if I'm being real with you. But I love what I see from my perspective. I'm almost seeing it from a public perspective, and I love the branding. I just love everything about it. And for me, Oakwyn was actually the closest I could get to that type of a feel. So, and I know the business model is probably not the same, but anyway, that was important to me as a realtor. So I really am happy where I'm at. Yeah.
So something that I guess kind of I've been enamored by was I spoke with Matt Leonetti last week, and I am just trying to wrap my head around this selling strategy in Canada. So I'm just trying to figure out. I know he mentioned there's some areas of Canada that if you put it up for sale, you have to give first right of refusal. So can you walk us through what selling is like in Canada? Because in New York, the selling price when it's a regular market, not like when we're like crazy short on inventory, is usually like you negotiate a little below it. Where in Canada, from my understanding, you guys start at the bottom and then you go up from the top.
It's definitely market driven, and I don't know, there's going to be nuances in different markets for sure. What we're seeing in Vancouver right now are similar conditions to probably what you've got in terms of very low inventory, like record low inventory, and very high demand. And so you are seeing multiple offer situations being the norm, generally speaking. And you are seeing way over asking, accepted offers way over asking price. That being, and there's folks I'm sure that are listing like at the, maybe it's an obnoxiously low, but generally speaking, I would say that people are listing within, the lower price range of what might be reasonable based on recent sales. And then there's so much competition that the prices are going quite a bit higher. So that's, I think, just a lot of the times, I think the listing agents are like, they don't know what to expect, and they're surprised by some of the prices that they're seeing. So, and I don't know what you mean by first right of refusal. We do in British Columbia over the last several years. We've had a lot of new regulatory types of things come into play, a lot of new rules, a lot of new MLS rules of cooperation, that kind of a thing. So what you might be talking about is that we have often, what's the term? Basically instructions regarding presentation of offers, or directions regarding presentation of offers. So if you want
it was something about like, if you put your property up for sale, and somebody offers that price, you've got to sell it to them.
No.
Okay.
No. There's certainly things like, if you get a unconditional offer at the asking price, there are legal commission the commission's owed generally, but I don't think most realtors would go and try and get that. If for some reason the seller decided not to sell, maybe that's where that was. But again, we do have lots of nuances in BC. We do not have dual agency. It does not exist anymore. So like, a buyer and seller is being represented by different parties, or they're totally unrepresented. And if they're unrepresented, it's like, disclosure. Are you sure? I don't think you want to do this. You probably should work with somebody, that kind of a thing. So every province is going to be different, as I'm sure it's different in every state in the US in terms of like how we all do business. Yeah.
Are you seeing a lot of people move into your neck of the woods from out of state, or maybe even out of country, or maybe out of province is the right term?
Sure.
Are you people relocate, and who are you seeing? Like, where are they coming from?
So usually our market, our region sees a lot of migration, a lot of immigration. And while we definitely see Americans coming from, but they would not make up the majority of our immigration, although they do invest typically, although I don't think that's what's happening right now. Okay. Yeah, we get generally a lot of our migration comes from like China, other parts of Asia, India, Iran, a lot of those kinds of places. We had a big housing crisis several years back, where a lot of the foreign buyers were being, it was in the news that foreign buyers were driving up prices, right? When in reality, like, there probably was some of that. It was a lot more of the luxury market, for sure, that was being purchased by people who are not in Canada. But really, I think it was getting confused with more migration, people coming here, a lot of international students, and then parents buying property here, that kind of a thing. Through COVID, it's kind of been a lot more of a local migration. So people, I'm sure it's similar to New York, leaving the downtown core, going to the surrounding areas. Vancouver has a funny geography, so it's expensive everywhere, but it's not like as expensive. But right now, that's what we're seeing, is huge upward pressure on prices, and like multiple offers in the like areas where 10 years ago, a lot of people would say they'd never consider moving, right? Yeah. So that's crazy. We do get like Alberta folks usually might come and invest, but it's right now it's just a lot of local activity and people kind of moving around and reprioritizing what they want in their lifestyle, kind of thing.
Do a lot of people in Vancouver maybe like, because it's so pricey? I feel like Vancouver pricing is like Manhattan pricing.
But we're one of the most expensive places to live, and that encompasses things like income as well, right? Like it's not just the real estate values, but it's in comparison to what people earn, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you
Mhm.
find a lot of people like coming in at like maybe a base? Oh, we have a good question. I'll ask it in a second. Do you find a lot of people coming in like at a maybe like a base model in a high rise and like upgrading and staying within like their ultra luxury, or like do you see like when people get to going from maybe one person household to two or three or four people, then they go to like a super luxurious like suburban setting? Because I feel like from everything I see on your social media, it's like a ton of like sexy high-rise buildings, and it's like, oh yeah, this is where like they like filmed 50 Shades of Grey or something like that.
It's definitely, yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, the downtown kind of, and we have a lot of urban centers now outside of the downtown core,
Mhm.
where, you know, they're really great, beautiful places, and, you know, they offer a lot of amazing amenities. But I would say that our market is driven by price point. So whatever people can afford is what they buy. So,
Right.
you know, and I would say the higher end market tends to be more, um, folks who are downsizing, right? People who are moving away from their detached homes and into higher price, larger condominiums, for example, or people who are moving to Vancouver and they're just used to apartment style living, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, first time buyers these in our region, even in our secondary, that might not be the right word, but our secondary markets, most of the time they're buying small condominiums, and that's a part. I don't know if you guys use the same language as us, but they buy a small one bedroom, and then they get married and buy a two bedroom, and then they have kids and buy a townhouse, and then maybe one day they can afford to buy a house.
Mhm.
Our benchmark price, like across the full region for a detached home, is well over $1 million. So even like in like 45 minutes away from, you know, downtown, like you're looking at over $1 million for pretty typical house. So it's, yeah, and we don't have, because of our geography, like we have the ocean, and then we have the US border, and then we have mountains, and then like there's just no room to expand. So it's really about density is kind of where we're starting to see, trying to create affordability in the market. Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions we have is, can a visitor or like a non-Canadian buy property in Canada, or do you need some sort of special permit or
No,
something?
you can buy property, but as of several years back, there's a lot of extra taxes. So you pay a premium. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then is there a lot of restrictions? Because I know Airbnbs were popping up all over the place, and then like towns came in and counties, and they were just like, yeah, no, the least amount of time you can rent out a space is 30 days. And so do you have a lot of Airbnb restrictions in Vancouver?
Yeah, we
I'm getting
do.
more Canadian as I speak to you.
You're talking East Coast Canadian. But yeah, you know, it is quite restrictive, and I think that trend is going to continue. It's right now, it's the cities that are, I guess, they have the authority over making these rules. So the city of Vancouver, for example, and people break these rules. So I'll just say that. Although I think that Airbnb is cooperating with the municipalities, but I hear people doing it all the time. So I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how they're managing to do that. But for example, in the city of Vancouver, you can only Airbnb a property that's not a separate residence. So like if you have a self-contained suite in your house, you can't permanently rent that out on Airbnb. Where you can is if, for example, you're like renting out like space within your home, like more like the rooms, right?
Uh,
Like, right? Or if you're maybe traveling, so just not permanent. I don't know the amount of time, but say you you occupy your home 9 months a year, maybe 3 months a year, you could do that. But basically what they're wanting to avoid is like, obviously, residences
a
that could be
workaround.
occupied by full-time renters. And so,
Yeah.
and other cities that were, they were getting away with it. I hear they're coming in and going to be even more restrictive than Vancouver. So I do caution people, and I know we met on Clubhouse, right? We met on
Yes,
Clubhouse?
ma'am.
Yeah, so I've been hearing realtors on Clubhouse talking about Airbnb and like, oh, we can do this and that. And I'm like, you got to be really careful, because I do think that the rules are like people are speaking outside of the rules. And you also have to keep in mind that the government can come in and change it like anytime. So if that's your primary investment strategy, you want to make sure that you can carry it if it changes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point to make, because I think a lot of times people are like, wow, I found this loophole. And I'm like, yeah, it's a loophole only for so long.
Yeah.
And then when it stops being a loophole, what's the game plan?
Yeah.
So that's a really important point. So keep
Mm-hmm.
that in mind. We have a question. Tor, I'm going to ask this question, but I don't know if we can actually answer. I have a question. What is the time frame for the market to actually cool down? I don't know that either one of us are able to answer that, but let's give you a shot. You go ahead first.
I think that this past year has proved that no one can predict anything. But that being said, you know, there's once we get past the pandemic and life goes back to normal, I mean, do I see trends shifting where there might be more activity in downtown where it's a bit slower right now compared to other areas? Yeah, probably. May that soften things in some of the other markets? Maybe. That being said, there's a lot of other factors. Like right now, we haven't been getting the migration we normally would get. We haven't been getting the renters that normally we would have, because we have a lot of international students, for example, that are not here. And so a lot of, not a lot, but enough investors have been selling or not buying. So I think that once we go back to normal, the activity could shift. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I think that Canada generally has done reasonably well through the last year, and I just think it's gonna remain an attractive place to come. Vancouver's already been an attractive place to come, and I think that will continue. So we shall see. I don't know if they were asking about my area specifically, but that's how I'm feeling right now about it.
Yeah, so I have to say that I think that last year has really caused a lot of movement out of New York and a lot of movement within New York. So I think that you have a lot of wealth going out of New York, and a lot of people that needed to live in New York to work. Now these offices realize, hey, I cannot have this crazy rental overhead on a commercial property, and I can have somebody outsource, or not outsource, but people that I still have and work from anywhere in the country. So I do think that New York, on the metropolitan areas, so New York City, when people from New York say the city, we specifically mean Manhattan. Mm-hmm. But for everyone else, it's actually like the 5 boroughs. Right. But people in Manhattan, I think there's going to be a big trend of probably, like, if I had to guess, probably 25% drop in price. And I think it's going to stay pretty steady at that lower number, because it was so overly inflated because of the limited space for such a long period of time. Now with all this, so much commercial vacancies, and then you have a lot of these condo buildings, which are buildings that are co-ops, condos, and also have commercial rental space. And with those commercial rentals going out the door, the building's not making the income it used to make, and therefore they have to hit everybody up with assessments, which drives people out of the building. So it's kind of, I feel like New York's got a really tough 15 years ahead of us. And I think that a lot of Manhattan realtors are like, look, the market's coming back. And it's like, yeah, but not exactly the way you're saying it.
Right. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens for sure. I mean, you know, that's the thing, right? It depends on the perspective. Like when I think of New York, I think of Manhattan. So if I was going to go there, that's where I'd be wanting to be. And that's, you know, regardless of where, I don't know, work was, it's like that's the lifestyle I'd be looking for lifestyle. But I don't know if that's like in Vancouver, we're right on the ocean, right? So it's like people stay there for the lifestyle and to have the seawall and be able to go outside and just be like right there and in it, and not have to drive, right? Like everyone else. I think a lot
of people though have like really moved into areas that give that lifestyle but are not as like skyscraper heavy.
Right.
So like Queens has seen a crazy price inflation on garden style apartments and
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
Brooklyn has gone through the roof. Parts
Mhm.
of the Bronx have gone up as well. It's just like a lot of people are now maybe reconsidering, can I get this lifestyle elsewhere versus do I need to stay in Manhattan?
Mhm.
So I do have somebody put in the question box. It says, Tanisha does real estate wrote, do you feel like YouTube was easy to set up and what tips would you give?
Okay, so again, I started YouTube totally like not by accident but without a lot of strategy or intention. Okay, so if you go to my profile, you're gonna see I have two accounts, and one you're gonna go to and you're gonna like, she has no followers and no subscribers, so that's not the one I'm talking about. But I am planning to build that one around me as realtor Ashley Smith. But I have this little company called Vancouver Avenue, and what we do is we go around and we tour all of the new developments in the region. And it's a little separate because I have a little bit of a different plan with that one, so I don't want it to be directly associated with me, and I have a partner. So that's Vancouver Avenue. So if you look at that, basically what I did, and I'm not sure this is the winning strategy, but for now I'm gonna keep rolling with it because it's what I can do in terms of like time management. I've been doing all those live stream tours. So all the live stream tours I do take generally twice. So I need to find an efficiency here, but I'll go in and I'll do a Facebook Live in like landscape mode, and then I'll do an Instagram Live in portrait mode. I'm gonna start cross streaming now that YouTube's grown, with YouTube and Facebook, and do them at the same time. So come back to me and see how that is. But basically what I did was I took those live stream videos, I downloaded them, and then I uploaded them to YouTube. I said, I have the videos, I might as well. YouTube's a search function. People in Vancouver want to know about a lot of these places. They're not going out and looking at a lot of them, at least if they're just curious or browsing. I don't know about, depending on where you are, where we are, like there's no such thing as open houses. Everything with the developers are all by appointment. And because of that, and with the market the way it is, like making an appointment isn't always that easy. So you're not like leisurely going on a Sunday to check out a pre-sale just for fun, right? And so, but if people are wondering about the market, like, okay, well, this is a search, it's a search, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you search on YouTube. so I'll just throw up, I'll put in some keywords, I'll make some covers so it looks a little bit like polished. Very simple. Yeah, so we can talk about that in a sec. And then what I found was, well, I'm doing TikTok, and why don't I post some of these videos too? Because we're doing like little short, fun, snappy things related to these new projects and developments. So YouTube now has what's called YouTube Shorts. So this is brand new. I think I got the benefit of starting to post like early on, and I think there's still time for this. So I would attribute most of my success on YouTube because of posting these YouTube Shorts. So just to give you what success means to me, I've had a YouTube channel for 3 months. I have over 6,200 subscribers on YouTube now. Given like I look around and see what other realtors in my region are doing, I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. Some of these folks have been doing it for a while, and they don't have that number of subscribers. So the growth has been really good, and I have been getting, leads and inquiries and people saying that they've been watching it and all of that kind of stuff. So that's really exciting. So you just, at the end of the day, post on the shorts right now, you just post the same way you would any other video. You just make sure it's more of that TikTok, Instagram reel style where it's portrait mode, 9:16. It has to be those dimensions. You have to use the hashtag shorts in the title and description, and it has to be under 60 seconds. Because what's happening is YouTube is looking at competing with these other platforms, and they want to create a like ever scrolling content machine. So they don't have enough content right now. So take advantage of it, because that's what I've been doing. I've had some videos really pop off. I've had one that I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure it's crossed 500,000 views now, which for YouTube is pretty good. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy. I'm just going to keep playing with it.
Listen, I mean, if I can give you any tips, with my 138 subscribers and my highest video having like 500 views, you just let me know. Okay.
Well, it's a different platform, right? So especially like, because I've started now on TikTok, and if you have a video that goes well, it goes well reasonably quick, like maybe that day or the next couple days, and you see it if it happens, and it's like immediate satisfaction, right? If it does go off. You know, I've had one that got 3.5 million views. That's like I'm like, now it's like I want every video to do that, and they're just not, and you just have to like let it go. But the on YouTube, it takes time. And so, like, for example, my little baby Ashley Smith channel, none of the videos have been put on the like short shelf yet. So no one's really seen them. And so I'm sitting here and it hurts my feelings and I'm embarrassed and I'm whatever. But I'm like, you have to give it time. It can take 2 to 3 weeks, I think, for YouTube to start picking these up. So I would say just play with it and try it. And if it doesn't work, who cares?
So Ashley, can you repeat those parameters? Susie Koenig Brown would like, can you repeat those parameters for YouTube posts? So this is not just for posts, it's for shorts.
Shorts. And so, yeah. And I think when people are new to shorts, if they've never heard of it before, it's important to know shorts is actually the language that they're using to refer to these types of videos. So they have to be in portrait mode, 9:16. So the same as your like Instagram stories and like TikTok videos, okay? They have to be under 60 seconds. And you just put hashtag shorts in the title and in the description. And then YouTube knows. I do think that very soon there's going to be a new interface of some sort where you can like scroll it and see it differently. But right now, if you go to YouTube, just even as a consumer, if you scroll down your home feed, you'll start to see them popping up as shorts. And you just upload them the exact same way right now. That might change. There's no like editing in there. It's just that like you can add a description and you can do that and add a cover. But you're editing out of the app and then uploading. I'm pretty sure they'll have an editing tool like Reels and TikTok coming soon.
Yeah, it's weird because I guess YouTube is so strict with the audio. I mean, I know that they have Vivo, so I'm wondering, since YouTube owns Vivo, when they get that editing feature for shorts, if you will be able to access like the Vivo catalog.
So that's a good question. So one of the things that I'm loving about Clubhouse right now is like, I've been like sneaking into these YouTuber rooms, and these are like real YouTubers, like not someone that's like a professional trying to like build their brand, but someone who's like 100% full-time YouTube,
This
right?
is my life.
And talking about what they're doing. And so what I've been hearing, so don't quote me, but what I've been hearing generally speaking is that like YouTube really wants this content. They're not going to penalize you for using sounds that are copywritten in this short type of platform. You can't monetize them. So if you have a channel that you're monetizing somehow, you're not going to get like monetization points for anything that has copywritten or licensed music. But they're not. So I've uploaded a few of my TikToks that have licensed music, and it's flagged in that it's like recognizes it has copy licensed music, but they're still letting them out there. Okay, so I don't know if that'll change over time. I think it's more about the usage and like how these are all working. That being said, more and more I've been leaning into more generic music. Like I don't know, like if I'm on TikTok, I'm kind of like making assumptions about what's licensed and unlicensed just based on like some of the things are not, there's no lyrics, it's kind of background music. So most of the times when I think it's unlicensed, it appears that it is unlicensed. So I do voiceover and that kind of thing. So it's just been a great way to kind of add a little fun to the content kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it makes me look back because I have a lot of like shorts that I could probably repurpose and post into shorts to try to get in while getting in is early. I mean, because I feel like Clubhouse is just blown up. So like the people that got in on Clubhouse early are now like, you know,
famous,
the small dictators of like, you know, these rooms. I have to tell you though, part of me like dies when everyone's like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. And I'm like, I've just moved rooms with you. Like, we know that the 10 o'clock room ended, now you're in the 11 o'clock. What do you mean? But like, I think
the culture is interesting.
Yeah, it's good theater for like the people that are coming in at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I think that that's also like, sorry, I just had like a pop up. But I think that getting in while shorts is like early on. It's like so important.
Do it.
What hashtags are you using for creating content that would go towards a client you're targeting? What's like your go-to, like this has been successful for me?
Right. And do you mean on Instagram or do you mean?
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
wherever you want to
Yeah.
share
Because
it.
so the reason I'm asking is because we were talking about YouTube and I've been
Mhm.
hearing like don't use hashtags or use limited hashtags and always make sure shorts is the first one because it can confuse YouTube. So that's a
Yeah.
little whatever. Instagram, I change it around depending on like what my content is. I'm really bad because I do so much of this like realtor life and like whatever. And I know that all that's doing, and I know they bring some attention, but it's just like more realtor to realtor stuff, like even
Yeah.
Vancouver realtor. But I don't care, to be honest. I kind of want those people to see me. But it's just a lot of the local I try like obviously it's nuanced like wherever you are. There's certain hashtags that kind of go in and out of vogue or whatever. Like in Vancouver, there's like must be Vancouver or like Vancouver is awesome. And these are all a lot of the times stem from like local publishing houses or something like
Mhm.
that. And I'll change it depending on geography, like where it is, like sub areas and
Right.
different things. But I throw all the hashtags on there. It's kind of a pain, and I've heard of a few shortcuts recently that I'm going to try out. But yeah, I don't know. That's really it.
You just bestowed the best Canadian out on us, so just thank you for that. You're like, I'm gonna try it out. So I want to throw this out. I'm gonna roll back because on your clubhouse photo, you have a shirt that says, "Thank God it's Friday." Oh wait, I'm a realtor, so I
Yes,
figure I'd give you like a funny shirt too. So
nice.
everyone asked you about that shirt, and I feel like is that something that you should actually like brand and start selling as merch on your site?
Maybe. You know what? I've like been dying to do something fun with like merch in general just to try it out. Just to like I see all these like 15-year-olds on the internet making money. I'm like, I want to try that.
My
So
kids are driving me nuts to make them a YouTube channel. I'm like, I'm trying to make one. And my son is like, he watches all these kids playing video games. And I'm like, you know what? I should just throw like abandon, like reckless abandon, get him like a whole setup, and then I'm gonna make him wear my shirt
yeah.
where it says my logo. And then people like I'm like, I'll film you as long as you're wearing my merchandise to
Yeah.
subliminal messaging. Tell these
Yeah.
kids to call me.
Yeah. You will at one point probably see some Vancouver Avenue stuff because I think the name's cool and our branding's cool. But the TGIF that T-shirt was actually swag I picked up at a conference, and it was from the Canadian Real Estate Association. Put that out, which is actually really cool. And they're the Canadian equivalent of NER. So I
So
thought
are
that's
you guys
cool.
are?
Yeah, I got it for free, and now everyone just loves it. So it's
Well, get
kind of
on
sweet.
that, girl.
I know.
Um, Twin Lions Holding Co. Ltd. wants to join the live, but I think we have to go through our questions first.
Yeah,
So
all
we
good. I
have a
think
question.
sometimes people accidentally hit that, to be honest, because I get that sometimes.
You're pretty awesome, so they might just want to say hi.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. Let me just see. Hold on. It feels like an alternate reality seeing you on Instagram Live and seeing you 5 minutes later on Clubhouse. That was from Joe. Oh, I'm gonna butcher your name. Joe Gerlach. Do you know Joe Gerlach?
I don't. I
No.
probably. Oh, uh, yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah. I do. I recognize that face from Clubhouse. I do. I recognize that face from Clubhouse. How you doing, Joe?
All right. So here we've touched a few things. One of the most important things that I think we need to touch upon is your love for puppies. You have a little doggy. Well, not a little doggy. He's a pit bull, right?
Yeah, she's
Or
a
she?
pit bull. She's small for a pit bull, though. She's like, I don't know, a little bit smaller. She's a rescue, actually. I only have had her for maybe about 3 months. Oh, no, time is flying, maybe 4 months now. But she's from Texas, actually. So she's my little Texas dog up here. Yeah.
Thanks for
Um,
taking us in American strays. I appreciate you.
you know, this is gonna come across the wrong way, but like,
Say it anyway.
it was time. I had another pit bull who passed away a couple years ago, and it was time to get a new dog. And here in our region, there were like no dogs available. And by that, I mean through like the rescue kind of environment,
Mhm.
adoption environment. They're just all gone. They're all gone. Like COVID, everyone went out and adopted dogs. And there are certain areas down south where I think the opposite happened because of the challenges people were facing.
Yeah.
So there have been some agencies that have set up some cross-border dog migration. So from some spots in California and Texas. So my dog came up with like 40 other dogs from Texas, and that's how I got her. And she's just the best. So I just have to say, like, anyone who hates on pit bulls, like they're the best dogs, and I'm so lucky. She's so sweet, she's so lovely and like loving and nice to everybody. And I know the world hasn't treated her great. She was a stray, she was a street dog, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, why are you so nice? Like, why are you so nice to everybody? But you know, that's why I love them, because they just have hearts, and you know, they just,
They've been through shit.
yeah, they just want
Yeah.
to be loved. Yeah.
You know what? My friend actually just they got a dog from Texas, ironically enough, that was pregnant. So they fostered the mama and she
Yeah.
had 10 puppies
Oh.
and the puppies were gigantic and they just adopted the last one, I believe last week. So she's
Mhm.
it's a married couple. So they have this beautiful little doggy and they named all the puppies after the American gladiators. Did you guys
Oh.
have access to that cinematic gold in the 90s in Canada, the American gladiators?
I believe so, but I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I was like watching it, but it rings a bell. I have to, do you mind if I shout out my cousin just stepped in the room, Anna, and said hi. She's all the way
Absolutely.
from Palermo, Sicily. So um hi
Oh, che
Anna.
bella. Go get
Yes.
by. Are
Ciao
you
Anna. Yeah, my mom was born in Palermo.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Very
I'm like
nice.
first generation Canadian with like the whitest white girl name you can find.
You
Ashley,
want to something?
Ashley Ann Smith. Like,
Oh,
are you
wow.
serious?
Whoa. That's a lot of whiteness.
That's a lot of
Ashley, that's
whiteness.
like a triple down. You tripled down on that whiteness.
I
I
know.
am Jessica in, well, now I'm Almazi, but my husband's Albanian, and he also looks like the most, instead of looking Albanian, he looks like Conor McGregor. So, like, everyone's like, oh, your husband's Irish? And I'm like, yeah, we'll go with that. He's like, I'm not Irish, I'm Albanian. I'm like, not to anyone that knows anything. So, so you're on Clubhouse. Do you have a Clubhouse room that you moderate or want to
Yes.
plug?
Yes,
Okay,
I
go ahead.
do. And it's going to matter more for local folks, but I was one of the people who was lucky enough to be on Clubhouse the day they opened up the ability to get new clubs, and I just jumped on it. I was so excited. So I actually haven't. I've only moderated one room in one of them, but I had to secure it. So I got Vancouver real estate and Vancouver business.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super excited. I am planning to do some fun stuff with this, and with the real estate one, um, I don't know, a lot of the real estate rooms I've seen on Clubhouse have been a lot of like realtor to realtor kind of business development stuff and that kind of thing. I really want to talk about real estate. I want to talk about like housing. I want to get experts in talking about like policy. Like people are so interested in housing in Vancouver, and where's the market going. And there's definitely going to be other realtors involved for sure, but more as a like, how do we talk to the public about some of the key things that are going on like right
Right.
now. So I'm super excited. And the business one, I want to get like business leaders from the region to get together and talk and like, yeah. So I'm very, very, very excited. We shall see. Missing those
And,
lockdown stories.
oh, do you have a lockdown story you want to share?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's. Who knows? Who knows what I was doing?
All right, tell me you have like that crazy successful video.
Mhm.
What was that video about and what went into it? Like give me like a cost analysis. Was it like an hour and a half of time and
Sure.
like professional videography or was it like cell phone? Tell us what you do when you make your content.
Everything cell phone. a lot of this stuff is not pre-planned. So a lot of the stuff I'm doing is when I'm just on site. So like if I'm doing a tour, and if there's anything, a lot of the times I don't even know what I'm going to see that day. Like, so I just show up, I spend a little time to learn about what it is I'm touring. And then I go for the lives. So sometimes I just snip stuff out of the lives. And other times I'm like, oh, I'm starting to think in TikToks now. I guess it's any short form video content. And so I said, oh, that might be something cool. So the one that you're talking about that had over 500,000 on YouTube, a lot of the times it's more about design versus real estate. So, which I love that, because that's what people are going to share, like things where they're neat ideas or hacks for their own spaces. So there was one in particular where we showed a custom like kitchen island crossbar, is really narrow, very unique. And it actually did really well on TikTok and Instagram as well. And then that's the most successful one by a long shot on YouTube. But we have had so many people call us, like, and DM us and follow up, like, where do I get this from? Where can I get this? I want this. I want this. And so again, it's not necessarily like, oh, Ashley, like, sell me a house, but it's like sharing the presence. People are following the brand, which is
it's
really
also
cool.
implicit exposure. The more you're shared, you make touch points. So whatever,
yes.
you know.
And by the way, that piece was custom, and because of the crazy amount of inquiries we've had, we are thinking about manufacturing that piece of furniture and turning it into a business. So we shall see. We have
There
a
you
connection.
go.
Yeah. So somebody, anyways, that's for another day. But it's opening up some, like, when something resonates, you have to be like, why is this resonating, and what opportunity, and then how do you replicate that? So definitely anything to do with home design. The other one, like the 3.5 million view one we had on TikTok, was about a really cool amenity space in one of the buildings that we toured. So it's a glass bottom pool, 20 stories up. So it's the highest glass bottom pool in Canada. So that one went huge. And so again, and by the way, so yeah, not everyone, some people are sharing those, like that had a ton of viewership in the US too, not just in Canada, because you can see in the analytics. But I can tell you right now that the developer, who's one is the biggest developer in Vancouver, they're like, we pay our marketing team to go out and like do stuff, and we don't get this kind of exposure. And so now they're pretty happy for us to be like participating, cooperating, collaborating with them. So we're building our relationships.
That's like a perfect segue, because it kind of leads me into my next question. Like, how do you use analytics and insight when going to pitch? Do you bring that up? Is it dependent on who you're in front of? Or is that like a part of your listing strategy now?
So yeah, so if I'm talking about resale clients, there was a time when I was diving deep into the analytics with them, and there's certain people that really like it, and certain people it's like too much. So
Glaze over.
Yeah, so it depends is my answer. I will be honest that I was doing that a lot more when I was able to use Facebook targeted advertising more effectively before the special ad category came out, because I was able to really take listings and do some cool ads and get in front of the
I'm frozen.
You're frozen. No, sir. We're not frozen.
Well, we're not frozen. Ashley will be back shortly. Maybe she got a phone call. Hello?
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I don't know what happened. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Hi.
Hi. So I just turned off my Wi-Fi and went to my LTE network. So maybe there was just an issue with that. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. So I don't know where I stopped.
Where we lost you is now that there's like the special ad category, you don't really go into it so much. So I guess pick up from there. So when
it's just like again, I was saying I understand why those things, okay, to some extent why that was changed, but basically what I'm saying is I have to pivot now and figure out other ways to use the tools and the skills that I have in my marketing, and to be able to relay and share that info with my clients. So I am doing that, and the bigger I grow my
I wanted to, let me like try to read that to you. Spero di poterci vedere presto, cucina mia. Salutami tanto, la tua famiglia e Ancho Taylor vi manda un bacio anche Domenico. Ciao,
Mi monkey, Anna. I love you. Ti amo. I can read, actually. I can understand the written, but she wrote it in English too. So.
Oh, I thought, see, nobody would have known that. I thought she did that for me. Hi, Anna. Thanks for saying hi to me too. So I don't know where we left off.
That's okay. I guess my point is, I think the analytics side of anything that you do online is really neat. I'm just having to pivot on how I gather that info and where I'm getting it from. But I can tell you that the folks who are impressed by it, they are impressed, and no one else is doing it, right? Like a lot of my counterparts are not able to speak to the type of marketing strategies they're taking online. So the more I'm involved in other platforms, and the more I'm able to grow my accounts, like even with this stuff with the developers, you know, as I'm gaining a presence and building my following, and they don't actually need to know all of the data. I can just show them some quick things that I've done, and they're really excited about it. So yeah, simple. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who the hell knew that in 2021 we'd be all like really becoming like realtors second and professional advertisers and digital marketers first?
Yeah.
So
I actually think it's why I love this business. Like I love the marketing side.
Mm-hmm. Do you like and enjoy the creativity that you get to have doing like real estate videos, or is that something that's kind of like gives you anxiety? Tell us a little bit about your process.
No, it doesn't. I think the only anxiety I get is about like not creating enough, like wanting to do things or having ideas, but not maybe setting aside the time to do it. So that weighs on me heavily. But you know, it's funny because when I was younger, I was, you know, in musical theater and choir, and I liked being out in front of people. And there was a long time where I wasn't doing that. And I think I've rediscovered that part of me. So I know that's not for everybody. And that's not to say that I don't have my own insecurities. Like I do, I see things, I'm like, I don't know. I don't like the way I look, or I don't like this, or it's not perfect, but I'm learning more and more to just get over it and just put it out there. So I know that's kind of twofold, is like the actual doing it. Some people get really nervous. I don't really. But then the next step is like posting it. Right. So I'm learning to just post, and then now it's just a matter of like prioritizing and also creating consistency, because I struggle with that more, with time management, and like how I have an idea, I want to do something, but I need to do it regularly, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
Do you have a regular time that you post on YouTube, or is it just whenever it happens?
Whenever I can make it happen. So I think what I'd like is to outsource some things just to get some help. But I would say for folks who are like me, who are like not structured, just like figure it out, move it. I think as long as you prompt yourself enough, like if you do it enough, whether it's within 1 week or every 2 weeks or whatever, I don't know that it matters that much about like the when, right? So I'm trying more and more to just do whenever I have a time, I just do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ashley, thank you for being so informative, and thank you for coming on Just to Chat. And is there anything that you'd like us to plug, or you want us, besides that awesome clubhouse that you managed to snatch up?
You know what? No, I thank you. It was really nice to be here. Thank you for having me. This was fun. I'm really enjoying the ability to like connect with people. And actually, I just say Clubhouse in general. If you have an iPhone and you're not on there, get on there, because it's just been a really neat new channel of ways to like meet new people and learn new things. So I love that. Follow me on Instagram. That's the only thing I'll say. Follow me on Instagram. You can check out, I've got my other profile there, Vancouver Avenue. Follow that one too. That's really it. I enjoy doing this. So thank you so much. I like an outlet to
I
just.
really appreciate it, Ashley. You were great. And make sure to follow Ashley on Clubhouse if you don't already. Hit her up on YouTube and Instagram. And remember, if you see the baby YouTube channel, still give it some love.
Yes.
And if you are watching and you want to give us some love, make sure you follow us at YouTube, JessicaMovesYou.properties, or Jessica Moves You, rather. Just search that on YouTube if you want to see some fun, kooky content from us over in New York. Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate this. It was awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
To meet you like face to face.
I know, right? Because, you know, Clubhouse is just audio drop in and a headshot. I have like a big coffee cup in front of mine, so. All right.
All right. Thanks to everyone who came in. And Anna, my cousin, ti amo. Have a good day.
Ti amo, Anna. Tutto bene. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff in Italian. It sounds Italian to me. I don't know if it is actually Italian. All right.
Bye. Ciao.